The world has gone wild since Meta has released Llama 3.1, and the internet has filled up praises for how good these models are, especially 405B. And I have to admit that Mark has done a phenomenal job, not only producing such a great model, but also making free for community to use. But today, this video, I want to bring your attention to another largely ignored model, which, if it's not better, is as good as 405B. And this model is Mistral's Codestral Mamba. It's a very lightweight model. From my testing, it's excellent at coding. And the reason I say it could be better than the Llama 3.1 405B is this Mamba is much better than 8B model from Llama 3.1, but it is also very lightweight. So in that sense, I think it is better than Llama 3.1 405B. In today's video, I have done some new tests in between these two models, and also I took some snips from my previous tests. So this one is just want to focus on comparing these two models. I hope you enjoy the video. Let's say you are a system admin and you want a script to clean up your system while deploying it. So as you can see, there are quite a few HP or these commercial software that I probably don't need them for my OS when I deploy them. So we asked LLM to write a PowerShell script that we can deliver to the system and clean them. Let's start with Codestral Mamba. So here we're giving the minimal information and just see how this LLM will perform. Can you help me with the PowerShell script that will scan the Windows and delete most common HP system software? I would like a clean OS. In the script, it will first check whether the software exists. If it does, remove. If not, move on to the next one. All the system notification and reboot shall be suppressed. So let's see whether this LLM can actually help us to do some work, not just creating random games. So pretty fast, you can see the Codestral try to list all the common HP software. Some of them I might have it, some of them I don't. This is a client security manager. So this is actually just one package. It's not different software, just different versions. The script should run with admin privilege and it will not display system notification. That's good, but it's only checking one of the software. Maybe let's give it a list of the softwares on my computer and see how many it can actually execute to remove. So instead, let's just focus on these 4 software. Let's not overwhelm it. As you can see, I have them all installed on the system, support system, presence, and hardware diagnostic, etc. Please be aware some of them might be a Windows Store, Microsoft Store app. Right, so very minimal information. Let's see what Codestral can take us to. Now the script is out, and as you can see, it's using the name that I provided to uninstall it. Right, it tried to get the name instead of using a better way, which is the application ID. Now it didn't get the ID, it's just using the name. So if we provide a name, it will definitely work better. But let's see whether we're based on the name, see whether this script will actually work. So now all I did is copy and paste the script to an elevated PowerShell. I have not done anything else. All right, let's see whether it will run. So the script looks like it's running. It just listed all the script in the command terminal window again. And the first result is HP Support Assistant is not installed, which we know that's false. HP PC Hardware Diagnostic is not installed. So I think the problem is we don't have the proper application ID. That's why the script is not working. So now we ask, the script ran, but it didn't find all the softwares. It will be better to use app ID. How do I find out this app ID on my system? So it has given me the PowerShell command to get the actual package ID, but it also has given us the ID. So we don't know whether this is correct. Let me just check this offline by using this command. Oh, and also back to our script. Although the first 3 didn't find because the name is probably not what it is, looks like the HP presence video has worked. And if I go to my system, I cannot see my presence anymore. So that tells us it's a working script. We just need to get the name right or get the actual ID. So we got the result back for our get application package. As you can see, for support assistant, for example, this information matches what it gives us, this ID. So what I'm gonna do, oh, actually it does. This one is the same, right? But we don't know for sure. And this one has HP dot, and this is just one word. And there's also other, I think this is the actual family. This family name is the actual application ID, right? But we don't know. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna copy everything into this chat and let Mamba sort it out for us. So it goes here at output from the get package. Please update the script with the correct installation. And we're just gonna copy paste all these information and let Mamba to sort it out for us. So this is the updated script. It has updated with the 2 packages. That's okay because the HP presence video is already uninstalled, and because I didn't provide a whole output of the get application package, I used the filter HP, so it might not return everything HP, and it didn't have one of the package, the connection assistant. But that is okay. We know the script works. We know why it will work and why it doesn't. It's all about the application ID, right? So we just test this now. So let's clear this, put a new script in, and as you can see, we still have the hardware, HP hardware support system and hardware diagnostic is still on the system. So let's run it and see what happens. There is an error. Let's copy the error back. We received the following error. So if this is no-go, we could revert back to the package name, but this time we'll do it with the correct package name. So straight away, it knows what the problem is. This package parameter should be used with a name. So I was actually given the wrong instruction to make it to use the ID, and ID actually doesn't work. So what Mamba did is updated to a name, which is not the descriptor name we had in the very first script, but this is the actual name from the get application package. So let's try with this update. I'll clear this and update it with our new package, and then let's run it. We don't need to save it. So it's uninstalling from Microsoft Store, and now there's one didn't found, which is that reboot required. This key is wrong. It looks like the application has been uninstalled. Click yes to keep your setting and preferences if you intend to install this one later. That means this is already uninstalled here. And if we go to the start and we search HP, support assistant is gone, so as the hardware diagnostic. Excellent. So this is a success with Codestral Mamba. And if we look back the registry error, it actually means when this key doesn't exist on your system, that means it does not require a reboot. So it's just a bit of error handling, so it won't need to spit out this ugly red color, but in terms of script, it works perfectly. And also, we even ask it to update our command. So now we're gonna use this proper HP publisher ID to get all the packages. And let's get ready for testing with the Meta's 405B model. So here's at our Meta AI's meta.ai, and we are with the 405B. I'm just gonna copy and paste the whole thing. So with our output from the PowerShell about the application ID, we're asking the same question, then hey, just do this for applications, and then here is the output from our PowerShell, and hopefully it will produce us with the correct application name. Let's see how it goes. On the website, but now it's better. So looking at the code, you can see it's very similar. On the top, it looks like giving us the correct name, but you can see the HP assistant had a correct publisher ID followed by that, but these two only had a star, so I'm not sure what's going on there. It either, number one, didn't know what the actual ID is, and number two, it didn't find it from our output as well. Back to our terminal. Now, before I run it, I just want to quickly put this script from Meta in here, and the top one is the Codestral one. Let's have a quick look before we run it and compare is any difference in terms of logic. So as you can see, they both had a package variable in the top, then you use the if else command, and the actual function to repackage is remove appx package. So they both got it right. I expect this one will work, so let's try it. Let's see the result from the Meta AI script. We'll run that. So this present video is not installed. Connection Optima is also not installed. And first one, as you can see, a support assistant worked, same result. So we know what the problem is, right? In our Codestral code, it actually extracted the ID, and here it didn't. So as you can see, if it needs to work, it has to use the complete family, the package full name, which you can see this is why the support assistant has been successfully uninstalled, but not the other two. However, you need to know that with the Codestral Mamba, before I ask how to get the actual application ID, he already worked it out and give me the ID. And when I provided the result from application package down below here, it actually didn't include these packages. So it must be because of the filter. Whether I filter HP, I filter the publisher, none of them contain information for HP connection. Let me prove to you. If I do a search on the connection, it did not come up from my output from the application package. So as the presence, this one, it didn't come from my output. So Codestral is able to work it out what the actual ID is. Now, since the output from our get package didn't have that, probably because of filter, but I don't want to just give everything as too much token. So let's ask Meta AI to fix those two ID without me providing the actual output, see whether they can work it out like the Codestral. So we ask again, the script worked, it removed HP support system, but the other two, not the case because we didn't have the complete package ID. Now the answer is, there's no answers. So basically Meta AI doesn't know what the ID is and asks me to run the get app package again. So in that sense, Meta AI did not perform as good as the Codestral, because Codestral, without actually providing the context, you already know what the actual ID for those two missing apps. So looking back, you can see we still have the HP presence installed on the system, and we run get package. We know when we did a HP, it didn't come up. So let's try presence. It also doesn't have that. So what if we just put the actual naming? That is the package name. I might be getting it wrong, but so you get the idea. Both are working script, but the Codestral has win this round slightly because it already knows the application ID we need, and I didn't need to try to work it out myself. We will take the same approach when we benchmark our paid models. So there will be two tests. The test one is a single long prompt. We will tell the bot to build a voice-enabled chatbot, and then whatever spins out from the output, that's it. We're going to test that code, see whether it works. Test 2 will be a multi-stage prompt. The goal is to build a local RAG solution, but we will divide that to 3 stages. And we will build the app slowly from MVP and scaling them out. The stage 1 is to build a text-based chatbot, so just straight interaction with the LLM with no UI. Then we ask to add a UI with Streamlit on stage 2. Stage 3 will turn the app into a RAG, which will index PDF file that we can upload using Langchain. For the test 2 multi-stage prompt, for each stage, we will give it 3 opportunities to debug to fix the code, just like we did with the paid models. Next one is our Mistral's Codestral model. Now, it may or may not be the latest member, we don't know. We are just following what the website says. So, first up is very fast, you can see. Here's the basic outline of how you can structure a Python script to build a voice-enabled chatbot using open source Whisper Library, 11 Labs, and GPT-4o. Looks very constructive. And you see this, load the actual environment variable. That's very good. Because it's obvious that's the first thing we need to do, right? Load the environment variable and then load the models. Now, if I look back, actually, not many models did that. This Llama 3.145, it didn't load the environment variable. The 8 billion model, it did. And GPT-4o, of course, that did. CodeGemma also didn't load the environment variable. Then you have the transcribe functions, and then the GPT-4 for the clients. This is the chat completion. It's using the mini. That's fine, even though we didn't say using mini. Where does that get from? For the response, then this 11 lab API. Okay, so I have to say this script looks very clean and structural. Now it says replace your voice ID. So we're gonna replace the voice ID here. So let's do that. Let's paste in the code. Now we will change this voice ID to the actual ID. Let's save it and run it. Okay, so got some error. Let's look through the errors. It tried to initialize the model of for the whisper, and then it had some problem with the audio file. Looks like transcribe didn't work, and the same file. I think it's because the file is not there. That's why it couldn't open. So same sort of error. The next one is Llama's latest 405 billion model, and this is the most discussed model on the internet right now because it's supposed to be a very good model, almost as good as Cloud 3.5 or GPT-4o. It's making huge wave on the internet. So let's see how it performs. Also, the style is very similar to our 8 billion model, very simple. It gives us, okay, this already look better. Model IDs, headers, okay. And then you have the GPT for the LLM chat, and you have the audio file. Very simple, less wordy. See, the explanation is also very simple. You will need to replace audio 3 file with your own audio file and adjust the voice ID parameter in the text-to-speech. Now I understand this bit. You will need to replace the voice ID parameter, which is right here. We're gonna actually reference our ID there, not from the environment variable. But this bit, you need to replace the audio file with your own. I don't quite understand this part, because the audio file should be produced as the output of our text-to-speech by 11 Lab API. So let's just copy the code and then run it, see how it goes. So we're gonna change this default to the actual voice ID. I will not worry about this audio MP3 file. It sounds complicated to me. If I'm asking it to spit out an app using one single prompt, I shouldn't be doing this, right? So let's just see how far we can push this. Let's run it, save and then run. Okay, so with some errors too. So first of all, it is definitely better than the 8 billion model. As you can see here, the user warning, if you watch my other video and you know how the Whisper library initialized, you know, in code. So this is good, although it didn't work. And also we didn't see the actual activation of user input. And then you have the same kind of the audio file error, no such file library. This is the same. Okay, let's move on. Welcome back. Let's start the test 2 for our open source LLM. Which one is the best coding assistant? Now, the final goal is to build a local RAG solution, and it will be divided to 3 tasks. And every task is a little bit harder, and we want to take a scaling approach. We're gonna build a MVP first. So task 1 will be a very basic text-based chatbot, like your ChatGPT, but without even a UI. And then we'll add a UI using Streamlit. And lastly, we're gonna add a RAG element using Langchain that index PDF files. One of the tasks, if the LLM fails it, we're gonna provide a working code as the basis for it to move on to the next task. And each task, every model will be given 3 opportunities to debug. Let's get started. Here comes the task 1 for our big boy, 405 model. Let's see. Also very wordy. Okay, I like it. Here's how the script works. Simple, straight away. Direct to the point. And then we use completion point again. I don't know why these models keep hallucinating and ignore the example. So we know that's gonna fail. We're not even gonna run it. And we just ask to correct it. OpenAI.chatCompletion is a deprecated endpoint. Please use a new one. So this is already our round 1 of the debug. Okay, did it correct it? Client, the OpenAI client, maybe it did. Let's try that. Code looks simple and structured. Not sure whether it's gonna fail on the printout. Let's save it and do that. Hi, error. Actually, we're getting some output. You just need to pass this result correctly. Hello, how can I assist you? That's definitely better. Let's do our debug number 2. Remember, this is already our debug number 2. So we'll paste this. The script seems working, but you need to print out the LLM response correctly. So I'm pasting this output. Okay guys, we want the debug number 2 for the Llama 3.1, the 405 massive model. Script will print out LLM response as a single string without a choice delta. Okay, let's see whether this parsing is working. We'll copy that and we'll try that again. Let's kill the app and run it again. Hi, hello, it worked. Look at that. 405B is brilliant. It fixed it in the second go. Wonderful. Okay, let's move to the next one. Let's try with the Codestral. Copy the same prompting and have a look at the code. Oh, very fast. Sure, I can help you with that. Here is a single script that should do what you're asking for. I like it. Looking good. Got the models. You got actual completion point correctly. Did it load environment variable? Yes, it did. Looking good. Let's try it. Let's copy the coding. And I have high confidence actually in this one. Okay, so fun. It's prompting for the user. Wow, in one go, Codestral Mamba. It works. What's yours? Okay, the chat didn't work, but it did much better than the others. So remember, we have 3 turns of debugging. So I'm just copy the resulting. It worked on the first turn of chat. Then it crashed. Please check the terminal output. Let's see whether it can fix it. This is good. A great start. It seems like the error is occurring because model response is being added to the conversation memory as none. This is likely because the large chunk of stream response did not contain the content field. We can check the content field is none. Okay, let's try this fix. Copy, paste into the new code, save, and let's run it again. So we're at our first turn of debugging number 1. My name is John. We get a response. Okay, amazing a week. So keep the response shorter. Wow, it worked. Do you remember my name? See whether it has a conversation memory. This is great. Member, second turn at working app. Great work. Llama 3.1 8 billion model actually didn't make out of the round 2 test. Let's see whether the big brother 405B can make it work. Very good. The big brother also doesn't talk much like the AB. And let's come here, put our coding. Let's see whether the Llama family can prevail. Here we go. Okay, the UI works. But does it display correctly? Okay, it's showing the response correctly, but it's not displaying the conversation, which is weird, isn't it? So we need to do some debugging. Okay, so it works fine, but the UI can be improved. It needs to look like a chatbot. Conversation need to be displayed, and the user input need to be in the bottom of the screen. So let's see whether it can update it. Again, it didn't say much. It just does it. I love it. It just does the work. I like the fact it doesn't talk much. You don't want a chatty LLM because it costs you a lot of tokens. Only when you want it to talk and explain, it will do that. So this is actually the result of first debug. Didn't move the UI. I think we're just gonna give up on that. I don't think any model can do that. So far, we got some error, seems like. What it says, please will be removed. Okay, just a warning, but that's fine. Looks like again, it did not display the LLM response and also the conversation history. Still nothing. Let's ask one more time. What is yours? Still nothing. So the core function definitely works. It's how it gets displayed in the UI. I'm gonna put this error into the model to ask because that's confusing. We're just gonna ask straight away. Sorry, wrong window. Back to our 405B. The UI is not displaying the conversation history because that's what we want. So this is the output of debug number 2. Let's see whether it will work this time. The output of debug number 2. Try one more time and see. Will you display the conversation history, please, to my screen? No, it's not doing that. Hello. I have to do twice. My name is Johnny. Notice every time, okay, it is something, it's definitely better. Okay, how many days in a week? And let's see how many days a week. It's kind of working, but I think we can improve that. Just pay attention how the user message gets displayed and the actual response gets displayed. It gets displayed together. So if I ask a longer question, tell me about George Orwell, and you can see it's thinking and it's not displaying anything because the response is quite long from our previous test. And then bam, you get my user response and actual LLM response printed out together, and also not streaming. Let's see on the last debug 3 whether we can improve that, but it's a working app now. So on the last debug turn, we asked 405B that 2 small improvements can be made. First, the LLM response is not displayed on the UI as stream, so we need a typewriter style. And second, the user input only display at the same time when the LLM response is displayed. We're gonna let 405B pass this test number 2, round 2, but we thought just gonna use this debugging opportunity to see whether it can make it better. And we're also not going to ask it to move the input box to the bottom of the screen. Seems like none of the LLM is able to get it right. Not sure why. Okay, let's try last result. Hey, hi, is it getting displayed? Okay, it is. Where's the LLM response? How many days in a week? So we are not getting, it's only displaying my user input. It completely ignored the LLM response. Okay. So it did get better, but we're gonna let 405 pass this round 2 because it was able to make a not perfect but working app with the Streamlit UI. Next one is the Codestral Mamba, which has quickly become actually my favorite model now. I like it even more than the 405B because that is a massive model from Llama. And this one is a small model and seems like it just works as good as terms of coding. Let's paste the new coding. Any errors? No error. This most model has been doing it correctly. There's no obvious errors in the code or missing libraries. Wow, straight away that worked, but obviously it's not displaying as what we want. How many days in a week? Where would this second line go? So it's cleaning out. It's not displaying the conversation history. Okay, so let's fix that. So debug number 1 for the member, I'm asking pretty much the same thing as I asked other models. Conversation history is not getting displayed properly. We need to make it look like ChatGPT and the user input need to be in the bottom. So let's see debug number 1, how member will do. I understood I made requirement earlier. Okay, so to the conversation history, we can use that. Okay, so if we can get it right, then it's not hallucination. It really misunderstood my requirement, so it's my bad. And let's see how this code went. Coming back to our code, we'll paste the new one in and we'll run it. Okay. Oh wow, did you see that? Did you just see that? The user input, this is the only model that got it right. It has moved it to the bottom of the screen. This is amazing, incredible. Okay, my name is Johnny. Now, it's gonna display, oh my god, member. This is a phenomenon. I think it works even better than Cloud 3.5 or GPT-4o. How many days in a week? This is incredible. Do you my name? So if I made it more clear in our first requirement, member might be able to get it right in the first go. Codestral is outstanding. It almost knocked it out with no debugging required. In the round 2 of our test, the Codestral member has scored perfectly. It not only get the streaming correctly, but also moved the UI element that brought down the user input to the bottom of the screen. Llama 4.5 almost nailed it, but it had a bit of issue with streaming, and one of the models is able to bring the user input to the bottom of the screen. But we still let Llama 4.5b pass the round 2 test. All models were able to initialize Streamlit UI except the Microsoft 5.3, the 14 billion model, which eventually gave up producing code for us. That is very disappointing. Let's start our test to round 3 to turn that into a RAG. we're gonna take the perfect code from round 2 that produced by the Codestral Mamba, and we're gonna provide this simple example from Langchain, how to do a RAG, and we're gonna feed to each model. Here comes the big brother, the 4 or 5 billion model. Let's see whether it does something differently. Let's bring the code in and we'll run it. Oh, obviously we have the errors. Langchain PDF loader, let's install that. And we actually can't install that. So it went and find a PDF indexer that doesn't actually exist, or maybe doesn't exist anymore. And I think it might be fair if I just tell the model what PDF loader to use. So let's just use our first turn, debug turn, and let it work it out. So it took the same approach using PDF Plumber now as the 8 billion model. Let's try it. Now I could use the debug number 2 on this. I could ask question now why this is not defined, but let's just run it and see what other errors it might come up. Well, it's still stuck on this. Even now we're using the PDF Plumber and we're still stuck on the same error, which is surprising. I'm still getting error. This is already number 2, debugging number 2, and still stuck at this PDF loader. Let's see how we go next. Are we going on the second one? Okay, it's running. Even though we have that undefined error, oh my god, look at this. We still have this. Runnable pass-through is not defined, but our script is actually working. My name is Johnny, and it looks like first you can speak, you can communicate with model, no problem. Ignore this PDF button is not displaying properly, but that's the last thing we need to worry about. And let's see whether we can do a PDF upload first. Can it be uploaded and can it be indexed properly? And nothing happens. So let's ask the question. Tell me about Alphabet's Q2 2024 result, and remember the magic number is 85 billion, but it's already failed. Okay, we're gonna use the debug 3 on this, and hopefully it can fix it so we can have a working app within the 3 debugging turn. So you can see the error is something to do with our Chroma DB, which is the embeddings. Let's copy the code and then try very last time. This is the end of whole Llama family if this fails. Let's go. Okay, we can chat and can upload files. Okay, there is no progress bar. We don't know whether it's been uploaded or actually indexed properly. Dictionary has no attributes page content. So I know we run out of 3 turns of debugging, and 405B also failed this round 3, but I just want to see whether it can fix it because I had high hope for the Llama family. Here's the code and we'll run it. And can we get it working this time? Core function works fine. Let's upload. Again, no progress bar. We don't know whether it's been uploaded or whether it's been indexed properly into the embeddings. Tell me about earnings. Do we get error? Okay. Now it went to the not defined error. So if we fix this, we highly likely it's gonna get the code working. But this is already the 4th debug turn, so unfortunately, Llama 345B also failed this test. The next model is our Codestral Mamba. Copy paste the same. Let's try it. This is the most hopeful model so far, the rising star, and I think it even performs better than 405B for Llama 3.1. Let's copy the code and let's run it. Quick glance, make sure everything works. And Codestral Mamba, here it comes. Well, initialized, no chat window. It means it took a different approach. The chat window will only appear when we have the file uploaded. Okay, so this is just communication line. We have got our first error regarding the PDF indexing. So here is the error. I'm copying everything from terminal, and this is our debug number 1. Our message indicates the PyPDF loader expecting a file path. So when we did a Streamlit upload, it didn't really go into the PyPDF. So to fix this, you can use that IO. Okay. So take the output. This is output from our debug number 1, and how are we going? Again, this one came up first. We'll upload. We got error. Looks like going via this IO thing is not a good choice. Here's the error with the updated script using the IO, and this time it went to a different loader class. So let's see whether debug 2 will give us a better output. Here comes the output of the debug number 2. Let's run it. Again, we're gonna upload first, and looks like Mamba has stuck in this upload error. So we copy pasting the same code, and we're giving the model a little bit nudge that we still have the same error, but I suggest you to try a different PDF loader that would work better with Streamlit file upload UI. This is the last. Let's see. To fix this, you can use PY PDF loader from the Langchain document loader. Okay, so that's a little bit different. Let's see whether this time it will get fixed. Here is it. This is the last opportunity now with a Langchain communities PY PDF. Will that work or not? We don't know, but this is the last time we're gonna try this. PDF loader is a complex project. Again, it failed on the I/O. Unfortunately, Mamba has failed this test. As you can see, there are no direct comparison between the Llama 405B and Codestral Mamba. There's no official charts like you see with other models when they release. There won't be fair comparison because they're totally different weight. On the leaderboard, as you can see, Llama 3.145B is all the way on the top, but there's nowhere to see where Codestral is. But from our test, from my personal experience, I think Codestral Mamba is a very strong candidate. For my particular test scenario, it performed as good as 405B. So if you haven't tried Codestral Mamba, I strongly recommend to give it a go and see how you like it for your workflow. Thank you for watching.